The Web That Has No Weaver, Understanding Chinese Medicine by Ted J. Kapchick. Introduction of New Medicine. Many changes have taken place for East Asian medicine in the West since The Web That Has No Weaver was first published. At the time of the first edition, only a handful of obscure and poorly edited acupuncture manuals supplemented one or two academic tomes. Depth and nuance in the discussion of Oriental medicine was mostly absent. No institutions helped guide or shape dialogue and inquiry. Today, clinical textbook for all Chinese medicine specialists, translations of classical and contemporary Asian source material, and academic works from anthropology, sinology, sociology, and history fuel an explosion in knowledge and exploration. Journals of biomedicine, the basic sciences, and Oriental medicine produce a constant stream of studies and finding. Institutions have developed. Professional schools of acupuncture and Oriental medicine confer recognized academic degrees. Universities have become a venue for the critical examination of East Asian medicine. Acupuncture is an ever-widening presence within mainstream healthcare settings. Just as Oriental medicine in the West has gone through transformations, so have I. The Web was originally written as an effort to communicate what I had recently learned in Asia. I was a novice, excited to transmit what I had seen in another world. In the almost 20 years since the first edition, I have continued to learn and study. I have treated many patients and worked in many hospitals. I have come into contact with many other healthcare systems. For the last 10 years, I have had a full-time academic appointment at Harvard Medical School. For 4 years, I worked as a series consultant for a 9-hour British broadcasting company, or BBC, television series on healthcare, and I was sent to visit various healers on 3 continents. Currently, I am serving a term on the National Advisory Council of the National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine, or NCCAM, at the National Institute of Health, or NIH, where I have the opportunity to contribute to the evolving reconfiguration of America's pluralistic medical environment. Although my home is now in the West, the Asian past has been a constant source of new inspiration. I pored over sections of classical Chinese medical texts that were often neglected or considered superstitious in modern China. Modern ideas have also been a continuous challenge for me. Clinical epidemiology and biostatistics are tools I have managed to acquire, and I am actively involved in scientific research. Medical history and anthropology have also alerted me to the need to be cautious and uncertain. Personal encounters have been just as compelling. Patients have demanded that my practice of Chinese medicine embody authenticity and relevance. Since the original Web, I have written on both Chinese medicine and topics outside its direct scope. I could have left The Web That Has No Weaver alone, but the Web has been too important to abandon. For many people, it can remain a valuable portal into another way of perceiving the world of health and illness. Instead of forsaking my first book, I have decided to gently update it, allow it to have a natural expansion. I did not want it to become an entirely new book. I wanted to keep its established identity. In the second edition, I raise and emphasize new questions and underline different connections. My growth is reflected in what has been altered. I have reduced the Chinese transliteration. European languages now seem able to contain more than I once thought possible. This new web has more of psychological and existential material derived from historical sources that the first edition overlooked. At the same time, the text is more sensitive to the contemporary debates concerning scientific efficacy in biomedical terms. Every chapter has been given new material and insights. Some sections have had to be rewritten entirely, especially the section of Qi, spirit, and the chapter on the patient-physician relationship. An appendix on Western clinical research has been added. Some material has been dropped because now and more complete resources are now available. Despite such modifications, I have striven to keep the tone, style, and sensibility to the old web intact. In Chapter 1 of the original web, I mentioned that the book is another commentary on the commentaries. This second edition is finally a gloss on the first web from the viewpoint of almost 20 years of experience, study, and reflection. It is no longer the writing of a person who has just gotten ashore with the need to tell a fantastic story. While still retaining its distinct orientation, it is now told, I hope, with the feel of a person who is grounded in two distinct cultures. For me, the changes made in the second edition feel like a maturation. I hope that the original Qi of the web has had an opportunity to unfold. In updating and writing the second edition, I have had to contend with the contradiction between a Talmudic intellect and Hasidic soul. I have grown acutely aware that East Asian medicine is a huge ocean of texts and interpretations. Any assertions is automatically a complex problematic and an opportunity for contending understandings. My hermeneutic tendency would have liked to pursue the paradoxical knowledge produced by irreducible uncertainty. For this edition, this tendency was overruled, or at least sometimes just moved to a footnote. I want this web, like its predecessor, to continue being an introduction to a coherent and radically distinct approach toward medicine. I want it to ultimately embody hope. Patients need treatment. Practitioners need strategies. Many intellectual problems have been put aside. In the choice between an analytic deconstructionism and a provocative narrative, I have adapted that perceptive that healing must embody an art with a compelling and even poetic message.